probably one of the last times I'll get to introduce Representative Brock. He has been our representative in Franklin County for 8 years. He said then this would only be for a limited time, and he has term limited himself, so he's not running for re-election. Would have been losing him anyway because we're in a new state legislative district. But he's been solid conservative voice here for us in the Capitol, and thank you for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Yeah, what is our, so we're going like every 10 minutes. So
Every 10 minutes.
So we'll keep things moving.
We're
Okay.
good. We're good.
Well, thank you for coming again this year. Is this our, how many years is it, Debbie?
I believe this
3
is
years?
3
Oh, it's
or 4
longer than
years.
that.
I
Oh,
think
has
so.
it? Oh,
This
you would
is my
know.
second in coordinating.
Got it, got it. Well, thanks for coming. I don't know if I made it clear that we're having our picture at 12:45, and as each speaker comes, make sure they come to the picture.
Yes.
I don't know if I made that clear to them or not, so make sure
Yes.
we get Turzai and everybody
Yes.
in the picture.
Yes,
So
and
that'll
I
be at
think we have
12:45.
others. I think we have others coming as well.
Great, great. So the last time I was here, last year, we talked about child protection. It was right after the Sandusky mess at Penn State. And the state, the legislature started to look at that and said, what could we do to improve our child protection laws? So the governor put together a task force that got to look at all of the laws pertaining to children and see what we needed to fix, see what we needed to change. And that task force put together a 450-page report that included a lot of different recommendations. And as of today, that just printed it off, we've passed 17 bills that add to or change the child protection laws in Pennsylvania, make them better. I had one of those bills, it was House Bill 350, and of course in this system down here, we passed it through the House, but when we got to the Senate, it doesn't have my name on it anymore, but it did get passed. So, and that was one that just, we looked at if you do bodily harm, and this is really despicable, some of the things you see, that to a kid under 12, it was a misdemeanor. I said, are you kidding me? So now it's a felony. And then if you did those same kind of things with a child under 5, the penalty wasn't a whole lot different. So we made that even a more a tougher felony. So that was my bill out of those. But 17 have been passed today, and we're working on several other ones. So it is, a lot of these things don't make the front page, or they may, and you just don't see them. But there was a situation was it was certainly unfortunate, and we reacted as a body here, and have done something about it. And continuing to do more. And another thing I wanted to just talk briefly about is we hear so much about the pension situation we have here in the state, and our pension system is so underfunded, and now we have a $50 billion liability, which is almost twice the size of our state budget. So how do you fix that? You really can't fix that at this point. About all you can do is manage it. And but that's difficult when you have 3 different unions, state unions involved in the negotiations, that they say, we go to them and say, what do you want to change? Nothing. Well, but we want you to fix the problem. We want our pension to be secure for the next 50 years, but we don't want to make the changes to get there. So if we could just get the teachers union, just for them to stay neutral on one plan, we'd have it passed next week, because they really control probably 20 members. They control how they vote. So if we could just get them to just say, we're neutral. We don't necessarily support a particular plan, but we're not against it. We could get it passed. But we're working all different types of, there's all different types of plans out there, going to a 401k system. One is a hybrid plan that you stay in the original system for the first $50,000 you make, and then anything above $50,000 goes into a 401k. We've looked at, and we're not doing anything to retirees. Their retirements stay as they are. People that are currently in the system, it doesn't change for them. So we've got everything we possibly can do, and still can't make the unions happy on this. So the governor's figured in a big portion of the savings we get by doing something with the pension plan into this year's budget. So if we can't get something done with the pension, then we've got to make those cuts somewhere else to fill that gap that he's already made a place for in the budget. So we're coming down to that. We're in May, or we're almost there, and the budget has to be done by the end of June. And all these deals have to be worked out. I just heard a new one now that they're thinking that we may try to pass a Marcellus Shale gas tax. We already did one a few years ago. It was called an impact fee then. But this would be an all-out 5 or 6% tax, a pretty big one. bigger actually, I think, than Maryland, or West Virginia and New York. So when you go higher than your adjoining states, and that makes it difficult for, why would you want to drill here when you can go there and pay less of a tax? So I just heard that option, but of course you wouldn't pass that with Republican votes, so there would have to be a deal made to get Democrat votes to make that happen. So can we make all that happen by the end of June? I'm not sure that we can. But if we don't do something, the payments are going to continue to go up for the school districts because they have to pay a portion of the pension problem, and the state, I'm talking about you, or in our state budget, you, the taxpayer, pay for all of it. But we have, our payments continue to go up. And we're getting to the point where we just can't keep up. Certainly school districts can't. And you hear all across the state, school districts going bankrupt. It's certainly not just because of this. There's been a lot of poor decisions made by school districts and school boards over the years that contribute to that. But this certainly doesn't help. And this is one we could I think, come together on something and make a difference there. And if we do that, then it'll just be a few years from now, the school districts will be out of money again, and they'll be saying we need to do something else, so that's not going to be the cure-all for school districts, but it certainly would help. So whether we can get that done or not, I'm not sure. But it's the number one issue I think we have to deal with going forward. We have privatizing the liquor stores. That's still on the table. And the way the system works here, you don't get pension reform, and you don't get the budget passed until you get, privatizing liquor stores. From it's a constant battle between the House and the Senate. You give us this, and we'll give you that. You give us this, and we'll give you that. And it's constantly trading bills back and forth. It's amazing how that works. And you could actually see the behind the scene that there's so many similar bills that the Senate, a lot of times they want credit for a lot of the big things, so they won't pass till their name gets put on the bill. When my stuff goes over there, if it passes with my name on it, fine. If it doesn't, it really doesn't matter. House Bill 350, it protects children. It really doesn't matter if it says it's Rock's bill or some senator over there, it's still protecting children. But a lot of guys look at it differently. They're in very competitive districts, so they need every little bit of good news they can get to put in the paper back home, and that's really important to them. So there's a lot of trading back and forth. So I know I hit on a few topics there. My 10 minutes is probably up. It is up. I didn't see Senator Eichelberger walk through the door yet, but certainly I'll take any questions you have for me. I'll be glad to answer them. And I certainly just hit the highlights on all this stuff. Yes?
Charity begins at home. What is in the works for changes within the House and the Senate as far as you guys taking a cut in any way, as far as your benefits
anything we do with pension reform includes the House and the Senate, and we're included in all that.
I think it's important for you to
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I would now. I did the term limits thing. I don't take any of the benefits, the perks. I don't take anything. So yes, it certainly starts with if I can't say it, then how can I ask it from you? So we will be included in anything that happens. We're number one on the list there. We've already made changes. I think 4 years ago we already made a change. So the multiplier we used to figure retirement, the new reps that have come in the last 4 years, they're at a lower rate than I am, and I'm at a lower rate than before me. So we reduced all the state cars. I don't think any legislator now has a state-sponsored car. You can get a lease car, but we reduced that fleet. Those things are hard. We pay into our health care now. In prior years, we never paid a cent into our health care.
These are the things you need to get out. Those are the sound bites that the people need to hear.
Right.
I only ask the question because
I understand.
I have people come to me when I'm doing door-to-door and say, what do the legislators think?
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, they are making changes, and here's what they're doing. They're trying to reduce the fleet.
Now, one thing before I forget, I don't want to cut you off. We voted to reduce the size of the legislature by 25%. That means 25% of all of us would be gone if our bill passed. Now, the Senate's sitting on that bill and not doing anything with it, but we passed it this year and we passed it last session. So it's significant, I think. So if you just take those things that I just listed and go out and sell that to people, I think they'll say, oh, they could do more, but they're certainly on their way. So I don't know if Representative Rapp is next on the list or not, but here she is. And you want to find the number one female conservative in Harrisburg, Representative Rapp. So I think my 10 minutes is up, and I know you're on a schedule. So I think Senator Eichelberger was next, but
that's okay.
We'll take Representative Rapp anytime we can get her. So Representative Rapp, thank you.